Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear people who are watching me. Happy birthday to you. Yes, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Isn't it wonderful to be alive? You're watching me now. That means you are alive. You have another day in the bank, another day to do what you like within reason, obviously. Every day is your birthday, if you choose to celebrate it. Why not start today and enjoy your life? Haven't said that for a long. I haven't said that line for a while, have I? Why wait to start enjoying your life? Why not celebrate your birthday today and start enjoying your life today? Happy birthday today to Rosanna, Lisa, and Emma. Three lovely ladies. I forgot to look up Emma. I know you from somewhere. I feel like I know you from Cheltenham, but I'm not 100% sure. And I forgot to double check that. So apologies, but hello anyway. Happy birthday to you. Lisa, who used to teach me how to dance back in the day. Ballroom dancing. Does everyone know I'm a ballroom dancer? Yes, absolutely. Good morning, Brian. How are you? Happy birthday to you too, because every day is your birthday. And of course, Rosanna. Happy birthday to you, Rosanna. I know you didn't want me to remind you of your birthday, but it is your birthday today, so why not go out and celebrate it? Why not make it into a joyous occasion instead of worrying about how old you are? Who cares about that? You look amazing, by the way, I have to say, for your age, shall we say. I had no idea you were over 30, if I'm perfectly honest. So there you go. Anyway, happy birthday to all three of you. Let's start by blowing out the candles on the cake, on our imaginary cake. Blow out one candle and try and think of a positive either activity you want to achieve or a goal you want to achieve in the future. Then breathe in 5 through your nose. Right hand on your heart, left hand out in front of you with the candles. These are the 5 candles. While we're holding for 5, by the way. Breathe in through 5 through the nose. Hold for 5. And then blow out the candles on your cake. I have to do it again now, won't I? That hasn't quite worked as well as today as it has done on other days. Never mind. Blow out the one candle. Think of something positive. Breathe in 5 through your nose. Hold for 5. Right hand on your heart, light your 5 candles. Whilst thinking about the positive intention for the future. Law of attraction style. Do that 5 times and you get lots of oxygen into your lungs, into your brain. You'll be able to think more clearly. Take a pause on your day. Do it every, and I have an alarm on my clock, on my alarm on my phone, which tells me every hour to do it. To do that blowing out your candles thing every hour. I don't do it every hour. But I should do, and if I chose to do it more often, remember should, replace shoulds with can choose tos, my life would be so much better, absolutely. Anyway, happy birthday everybody. How are you doing this morning? How can love save the world? Okay, that's the topic of the day today. I've forgotten to put my timer on, never mind, it's 8:13 now. Let's see if I can finish before 8:20, shall I? Yeah, that sounds about right. Happy birthday. No, I did that one already. How can love save the world? How can love save the world? How can my love save the world? This comes from the Loveability book, which was a good one today, good topic today. Didn't read a lot of it, but it really inspired me because it's all part of what I teach and what I ask people to do, which is to learn how to love yourself, learn how to love how you've become the person you are today. And by understanding how your brain has been programmed by your environment, by your parents, by your teachers, by the people in your life, you can understand why you think the way you think and the way you act the way you act. And sometimes some of that will be good, some of that will be bad, and some of it will be helpful, some of it will be unhelpful, and we can choose how we want to change those things in the future. Hello Kylie, good morning to you, happy birthday, because every day is your birthday. Lovely to see you on here. Smiley Jones, Kylie Smiley Jones, always bringing a smile to everybody's face. There you go. Yes, so as soon as you can understand yourself and your perspective and why you think the way you think and how you've become programmed by your environment and by your teachers and all that kind of stuff, then you can recognize in other people the way they think and the way they act and the reasons why they act and the reasons why they've been programmed by their environment, by their teachers, by their parents, by their experiences. And then that allows you to be more compassionate and tolerant towards them. when they don't appear to think the same way you think, or they don't feel the way you feel, or they act in a way that you think is wrong or against you. And sometimes people do things that act what looks like they're acting against you. But in almost all those cases, they're acting in their own self-interest and they don't care about you at all. I've had this conversation with several divorced couples, typically, and it's usually the woman that I'm talking to. Just happens to be the way it is. I operate better with working with women. Typically what will happen is they'll come to me and they'll say, why is he doing all this stuff to me? Why is he doing all this negative stuff and causing me all these problems, all this pain and so forth? And usually it's a case of they're not. That man that you've divorced is not doing it to spite you or anger you. He's doing it for his own gain, for his own good. He doesn't care about you. He has stopped trying to make an effort for you. He may have been making an effort up to a point, and then you got divorced, and he's like, right, I don't care about that woman anymore. She's out of my life. I don't want to care. I have no interest whatsoever in what's going on in her life. And of course, that comes across quite often as he's doing it to hurt me or to harm me. But mostly it's just because he doesn't care. He's moved on with his life. He's doing something else. He's paying attention to himself, his own interests. He's being selfish, if you like, which is fine because we all do that. Anyway, so then, how does my love save the world, and how can love in general save the world? So it's not just my love, it's your love as well. How can your love save the world? And essentially that is being tolerant. So it's loving yourself, understanding why you feel the way you feel. I'll say something else in a second about something I saw on Twitter the other day. So love yourself, understand how you've become the person you've become, then you become more tolerant about other people and understanding towards them, and then there's less conflict. Because what's the world's biggest problem? What is the world's biggest problem? Division, conflict. People not understanding why somebody else has done something and being angry with somebody else. That's the world's biggest problem. The second biggest problem in the world is people who are angry with themselves, who hate themselves, they're judging themselves. There was another shooting spree in America last night that I heard about. And it's the same sort of thing. I don't know what the reasons are, absolutely no idea. But the question is what's going on inside that person's world that makes them feel so aggrieved and so angry with the world that they want to go out and shoot other people and externalize that pain that they've got in some way, shape or form. What is going on in their lives that makes them feel so angry with the world that they choose to go out like that and basically destroy their own lives and destroy the lives of other people. It's a horrible thing to think about on a Tuesday morning, but essentially it's the same thing. It's like that person didn't feel loved, they didn't feel wanted, they didn't feel included, they felt divided, they felt excluded somehow, in some shape or form. They felt aggrieved about something outside of themselves, and they acted out for whatever reason. We don't know what that is. Maybe we'll find out in good time. But anyway, there you go. So that's how it is. The world's biggest problem is division and isolation and non-acceptance and so forth, lack of understanding, lack of compassion and all that, tolerance and stuff like that. And if we can start bringing people together and start to love each other a bit more, even if we disagree and we don't think other people are doing things in the right way, the least we can do is at least tolerate them and understand why they're thinking that way and show them our love. So your love can help heal the world by projecting that love onto other people instead of projecting the pain inside yourself onto other people. That's the big difference there. So there you go. That's my message for the day. There is a bonus track in the comments, 7 habits bonus. I'm just going to run through those really, really quickly. You can go and watch the video yourself. It's fantastic. There's also a one from Robert Kiyosaki about investing and stuff, which is fantastic, but not really relevant to any conversation I'm having today. Also, the Blinkist book of the day is really interesting. It's about the British Empire and how it was formed and how it was created, all that kind of stuff, and why it has to go away now, it had to go away or whatever. Surprising amount of Dutch influence in the early days of the British Empire, and I am a quarter Dutch, so it was quite interesting to hear all that stuff. I didn't realise that. 7 habits bonus though. Manage your time. I talk about this on my 7-day challenge, which we are running this week. So if you've missed it, we're going to start another one in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time for the next one. Shift your thoughts. So be aware of what you're thinking and how you're thinking and how it's affecting the rest of your life. Design your day. So this is habits and routines and so forth. This is another one of those things I talk about in my on my Rubik's Cube, my Freedom Cube. The Freedom Cube has all these things on it, by the way. That's why it's integral to what I do. How do you use a Rubik's Cube and neuropsychology and neuroplasticity to find freedom from depression and anxiety? That's what I do. Don't have to use a Rubik's Cube, but it's the concepts that are on the Rubik's Cube that's the key thing. Meditate on a regular basis. That's clearing your mind, focusing on your thoughts and controlling your thoughts. So it's not necessarily about clearing your mind completely. And meditation is a lot more about understanding your thoughts and recognizing your thoughts and being able to picture them and see why you're thinking the thoughts you're thinking, and how to take back control of your own mind, basically. Changing your environment. Who do you hang around with? We all know that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with, and so you can limit the amount of time you spend with people, or you can the other way of thinking about this is limiting the topics you talk about with other people. So if you find people dragging you down on certain topics, just don't talk about those topics with those people. Limit the amount of time you spend with people. Don't reply to calls straight away. If they're bringing you down, just don't reply quite as often. All that kind of stuff. Tony Robbins talked about pushing through, so having tiny successes. I interpreted this as being tiny successes. So I've talked about this before. This is setting yourself tiny little goals and then achieving them. Tiny little goals and then achieving them. That builds your self-confidence. You start to trust yourself that you will do the things you follow through to. I can't remember who it was, but somebody talked about having no regrets, and I interpreted this as being you. Understanding who you are and what you love in the world. So this is the should. Change the shoulds into can choose tos in your life. That's how I interpreted that one, which is you regret things when you don't do the things that are true to your soul, and when you start doing things that you think other people want you to do. This comes back to that conflict and division and inclusion. You want to feel included, so you'll do things that people feel like they want you to do, and not necessarily the things that are true to you. And where do those come from? Because they're projecting onto you their desires and their wants and wishes and so forth, their pain, they're projecting onto you. They're making you feel like you should do this other stuff. And it's just this whole conflict. We talked about this before, about how we have on social media, we have this kind of distorted view of the world. It's all these good things. And the last one was Evan Carmicheal, and I think he talked about focus, basically, which is just like being focused on the thing that you're working on in the moment. Not worrying about the past, leaving the past behind. The past is a drag on you. It's and I've just realised I've gone up to 8:22 on the clock here. So I was thinking about this the other day. It's another analogy. You're driving a car, and your regrets and your things that you need to forgive are all hanging out the back of your car like they're barrels full of concrete tied to the back of your car. So they're slowing you down, like this kind of stuff. You just need to cut the wires. And don't have those regrets. Cut the wires. Forgive the past. It's gone. You can't do anything about it. You're just dragging it along. You're holding it with you. Just let go of those bricks and leave them to be in the past. You can't do anything about the past. And we've had a lot of this actually just recently as well. I'm going to go on a little bit longer. I'm going to say love you, just in case there's an Instagram timing cut there. Yes, we've had a few people who have not been forgiven for so there's a difference here as well. You've done something in the past that you shouldn't have done. Maybe times were different back then. Maybe you made a mistake, you didn't understand the world as better, you made some mistakes, and then you come into the present and people are saying, oh, what you said in the past there was wrong, and you go, yeah, you're right, it was. I apologise for that. I'm going to be better in the future. That's okay. You've done that. You can't stop. You can't change what you did in the past, but what you can do is you can change what you're doing now and going forward. The difference part of that is, the reason I did that was because of this, and it wasn't really my fault. And it's people not taking responsibility for their actions in the past. That's the problem, and then that tends to lead to them taking those thoughts and processing forward in the future. So they're not actually regretting the things that they did. Anyway, they're not actually being apologetic for the things they've done in the past, which then tends to mean they're holding on to the thoughts and the feelings that they had in the past, and they'll project that forward into the future as well. So watch out for people who make excuses about the past. Remember, we talked about this below the line thinking, blame, excuses and denial down here, staying in bed, whereas above the line thinking is ownership, accountability and responsibility. Ownership, accountability and responsibility, or you're rowing forward into the future in the top half of the thing there. So that's all good stuff. Right, hopefully that was less than 15 minutes. We'll see. Take care, love you all. Hope it was a lovely Tuesday morning talk, and take care of yourselves. Have a lovely day. Spread love out into the world. Remember, your love can save the world if you choose to project it out the love out and not all the jealousy, hurt and anger and all that kind of stuff out into the world. Send love out into the world, guys. Love you all. Bye for now.